Alright guys, I'm back from my camping trip, not that you care. But I also have a new roommate, Gianna, and her very pouty lips. Seriously, you just give Rosie Huntington White these lips run for their money. And I'm here with yet another book review. This time it's of Intertwined and Unraveled. That's right, another Gena Showalter series, folks. I'm pulling out all the paperback. Pulling out all the stops on this one. So, let's talk about this series, okay? I didn't quite know what to expect with this one. I heard good things. I read these books and hearing good things about them, and wanted to check them out solely for the fact that it's Gena Showalter. And I have to say, I really like this series. This is a basic. I should give you the basic premise of it. It's basically about a kid named Aiden Stone, who basically has 4 human souls inside his head, talking and doing whatever. Each have their own specific power, which I'm going to let you read the book to find out. And he moves to Oklahoma, where he meets some new friends, and he even finds a girlfriend who turns out to be a vampire princess. And yes, there's like werewolves and stuff, and ghosts, witches, zombies, what have you. It's very interesting gothic series. That's what I describe dark stuff like that. Very gothic. It's a very gothic, awesome, interesting series, and it's definitely one you need to check out. I have to say that, because there's a lot of interesting, cool stuff in this book. Very likable characters. I like Aiden and Marianne and everyone. Very sympathetic, and even though this book isn't first person, which I believe Gena does, which I love the way for Gena wrote first person with playing with fire. That even though this series basically switches between perspectives of Aiden and Marianne, and even then Gena managed to do a great job, and you really get into their heads, you get into their mindset and everything, which is very cool and very unique for a third-person book. And probably my opinion, this series is what House of Night should have been, because this series, it does get have a lot of dark turns. It does get a little edgy in places, and it's very emotional, especially at the end of the first book, Intertwined. But it's not pervasive or egregious or any other big word. It's just enough. It's just enough darkness and just enough emotion, just enough stuff. And it's not gonna traumatize anyone. For the second book, it's excusable because you gotta leave him hanging for the next one. Even though it's not sure some bad things happen to these characters, but it's not so pervasive. They don't have the worst luck in the world. But even then, if they do, they take it in stride, and they're you want to go with them and see them suppress all this. House of Night, the misery was just so pervasive, and these are just the unluckiest people. Nothing but bad things happen to them. Here, some good things happen to these characters. Although, in the end of this, just when things start to go right, they just pull out the stops and throw some random misery at us. But to be fair, they have to pull us in for the next book. She has to pull us in for the next book. But, and yes, I will review that next book, Twisted, when it comes out this fall. I'll probably have to pre-order my copy of that. I'm still killing time for forever when that comes out, but one of the reasons I read this, but it's just, with Gothic series, it's okay to have a little misery, but not just, House of Night was just nothing but. This has some, but it's well paced out. It's well spaced out. Gena treats her audience with respect, which I like. She knows what we want to see. We want to see these characters live happily ever after, basically, and she does throw some obstacles in their way. Take Twice as Hot, for example. Spoiler alert. There are some obstacles, say Rome loses his memory and forgets about Belle. Okay, genuine obstacle, but he ends up getting his memory back, and they end up happily ever after. Lexus and Sheridan get kidnapped by Desert Gal. They survive, and Sheridan even gets superpowers and a boyfriend out of the deal. So, who's complaining? Here they do throw some obstacles at us. and they eventually get overcome, except in this one. But as I said, that's excusable. It has to leave us hanging for the next one. I've got some theories about what'll happen in the next one. I don't think Marianne is really a drainer. I'll tell you why not. Because her powers, whatever you want to call them, only started to show after she was cursed by the witches. So I think the witches didn't put a death curse on her, because she keeps saying she feels fine, doesn't feel cursed at all. I think they just made her think she was a drainer to try to turn everyone against each other. And if you even look in the glossary of characters at the back of this book, it doesn't list Marianne as a drainer. It lists her as a human. And drainer is its own separate category. So that's a clue. That's what I think is going to happen. And share with me your thoughts on that. And Gena, if you know, don't spoil. Comment, watch this video. Don't spoil it for me. I want to be surprised. But this is a very, very great series to read, and it's what a gothic series should be. Like, some misery's okay, but not like House of Night, where it's so pervasive and so traumatizing. Don't kill off main characters who we know and love. And here, Gena has the sense not to do that. She doesn't kill off anyone we honestly, truly care about. She throws some obstacles at them, sure, but we don't just throw them in the meat grinder. So all in all, Intertwined and Unraveled are great books to read. You should definitely check them out. Definitely get addicted to them. They are very, very addicting books. Not as so as probably Shiver Forever or the... Actually, maybe they are. Maybe they are on par with Shiver, the Mercy Falls series. I couldn't think of its name for a bit. These books are highly addictive. In fact, I finished this one. I finished like the whole thing in one day, and I was less than halfway through when I started, and I finished the whole thing in one day. Something about Gena Showalter sequels, because I finished like almost all of Twice as Hot in one night. But all in all, great series. Check it out. I endorse it. I give it my seal of approval. I will definitely be interested in when the next one comes out. I want to see how they resolve everything. But I think this Unraveled has like the same problem Linger had, in my opinion, at the end. Spoiler, as I said, because it's a cliffhanger you can't wrangle yourself out of. Like, take Linger for example. Sam's a human and Grace is a werewolf. That's something you can't wrangle. And there's no cure. You cannot wrangle out of that one. Here, Victoria may or may not be still be a vampire. Aiden may or may not be a vampire. They didn't make that totally clear. And if there is, there's no way you can wrangle out of that. And if Marianne is a drainer, no way you can wrangle out of that. So, note to series that end on cliffhangers. Give us a genuine cliffhanger, but not one you tie yourself into a corner. So, I think that's pretty much it. I said all I need to say. Great series. Hopefully, Gena, if you're watching this, please let me know what you thought. And Frenzy227 out.